Chiefs beat the Bills last night in the AFC Championship game, 32-29. And the Bills actually had their own destiny in their hands. And then they were unable to get a first down conversion. People want to say, oh, tennis has this in-depth technology to where you can see the line in tennis and see if the ball touched any part of the line. Why can't the NFL have this? It goes back to years and years ago when the Raiders and the Cowboys played on Monday Night Football and they used that cue card to measure the difference between the ball and the marker. And we didn't use a cue card last night, but it's still very ambiguous where it's being left up to referees and to a human to decide when we have all this technology to figure this stuff out. Regardless, the Chiefs get it done again. They're moving on to another Super Bowl. The Chiefs are the first team to win back-to-back Super Bowls and actually advance back to the Super Bowl and have a chance at a three-peat. But as we saw years ago, the Chiefs had a chance to repeat against the Buccaneers, and they lost by a lot. And so they could end up losing by a lot, just like the Commanders did. But regardless, the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for their third time in a row, third season in a row. And so, Toddy, I'm going to toss it to you first on this one. Just what is left to be said about the Chiefs?
They just pure grit. They always figure out ways how to win these games. I don't think it's a coincidence that they're undefeated in like one-score games. I think they do. Like luck comes on their side, I'd say a lot more than normal when it comes to getting calls, timely calls, that is. That first down or that fourth down play was huge. It was game changing. You could argue, I mean, if you kind of watch it, looks like Josh Allen gets the first down there. I don't know how that call got reversed. But the Chiefs had it, they went down, scored. Because they were on their side of the field at that point in time. The Bills did end up tying the game. Or no. Yeah, they did. No, the Bills did end up tying the game after the Chiefs went up 7. Chiefs come down and score again as Blue was like, yeah, that was a bullshit call. The Bills go down, tie it. And then the Chiefs kind of, they end up putting 3 points on the board. And you're kind of just looking at when Josh Allen gets the ball, fourth down, what does Spagnuolo draw up? An exotic blitz. Where have I seen the same exotic blitz? Oh, I don't know. The Super Bowl in last year. He's known for these little late game situation blitz plays that he'll draw up to kind of create pressure for the other opposing quarterback to kind of make him make a very, very quick decision. And that pass they threw up to Kincaid at the end, like literally it goes through Kincaid's hands. If you watch the replay, like Kincaid had a chance to catch the ball, which was insane. But I mean, it just seemed like when the game first started, like Mahomes came out, bing, bang, boom, touchdown, 7-0. And then Josh kind of looked a little bit shaky, like early on in the game. And I don't know. It kind of took him a little bit to warm up. We saw an insane catch from Mac Hollins. He was balling this whole entire game. I thought James Cook was playing really well in this game, but they kind of shied away from him towards the end of the game, which was a little bit concerning because I think he had like 136 yards. I don't know if it was total yards or rushing yards, but I thought James Cook they were getting him involved throughout the game, and he was being very effective. Didn't really see him too much down the stretch, but I mean, the Bills come up short again. Are we going to have to start having the conversation? Do they need to find a new head coach in Sean McDermott? I'm not sure. I mean, they got to the AFC Championship game, so they're getting success. It's literally Mahomes. Like, that's just the common denominator from all of these quarterbacks. The last time Mahomes lost, I think it was against Joe. The only two quarterbacks that beat Mahomes, Joe Burrow and the other guy's calling games now. I think, or I saw a stat whenever he's like a favorite Yeah, so it's Joe Burrow and Tom Brady, and that game was at home too. They were on the or Brady and them were on the road in that game. So, and so were the Bengals. So, I mean, it's very tough to beat him in the playoffs. He doesn't lose much. Like I said, he's lost 3 times. In this, I think he's been a starter for 7 seasons, and he's been to the Super Bowl, what, 5 times? It's pretty insane at this rate. He's not even 30 yet. So it's like, I don't know what you I don't really know what to do. I thought Xavier Worthy was huge in this game for the Chiefs. Didn't really they kind of took away Travis Kelsey, so it was like Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith, Noah Gray. We saw Kareem Hunt had a really good game, and a couple down the stretch catches from DeAndre Hopkins, not too much, but I thought Xavier Worthy was the best receiver for the Chiefs in this game. So um, they got a test ahead of them. This is gonna be a really good game, in my opinion. And the line came out yesterday. The Chiefs are favored by 1.5. Posted a stat in the group chat, the Stats of Politics group chat. Whenever Mahomes when he's under a touchdown favorite, 7-0 gets spread. I know that means nothing to Kevin, and that means absolutely nothing to Cass. But I mean, Mahomes is going to figure out, and me and Kevin were talking earlier again. He was talking about how the Chiefs, it's going to be tough for them to score. They haven't scored 30 points, that as Shaun shows the graphic for the audio only listeners on cell phone, 7-0 against the spread. The Chiefs only scored over 30 points twice this year, and Kevin's confident in his defense that it's going to be tough for them to score 30 points this year. So, as Shaun shows another meme, it's from, I don't know if you guys have seen Jerry Maguire. It's the Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me the money. So, I'm excited for this game because obviously it's a rematch. A lot of things are different since both teams have played each other in those 3 years ago. Obviously, I think the glaring thing is there was no Saquon Barkley on the Eagles. So we'll be able to get into that next week, but I'm excited for this matchup. And this was one of the best games of the year, I would like to say. The Bills just come up short again, dude. What does Josh Allen have to do? Like, what more does he need to do? I mean, I don't know. Not be in the AFC, maybe.
All right, Kevin. Well, the Chiefs beat the Bills once again, and unfortunately for Josh Allen, he just keeps running into the brick wall that is Patrick Mahomes, very similarly to what Peyton Manning used to run into with Tom Brady, except Peyton did get him once. And so ultimately, or actually twice, because he got him in Denver and in Indianapolis, but that was 2 out of 10, 15 times in the playoffs, and probably about 10. Anyways, nevertheless, Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl. This is ultimately going to be your team's upcoming opponent. But when it comes to last night's game, what did you think of it overall?
You know, there's people say this is a rivalry, but it can't be a rivalry if one side never wins. This is now the 4th time Josh Allen's lost to Patrick Mahomes. And there's some interesting stats. Teams that have scored 3 touchdowns and 0 turnovers in the playoffs are 140-9. In the playoffs, the Bills have 3 of those losses of the 9. Another stat. Bills scored 4 touchdowns and had 0 turnovers. In the playoffs, in history, they are 59-3. The Bills have 2 of those 3 losses. What else do the Bills need to do? You know, Toddy mentioned it. They went all in on defense. They had all the guys. They had the Jordan Poyers. They had everybody. They went all in. And then they got Josh Allen a number 1 receiver. And then the next year, a couple years down the line, they keep getting to a point or a peak, and they just can't get over the hump. So what do they decide to do this year? Not only do they trade their first-round pick that became Xavier Worthy, who tore them up in the AFC Championship game that now plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, they got rid of Stephon Diggs. They let the defense go, the Tre'Davious Whites of the world. They let them walk, the Jordan Poyers, like I mentioned. And they wanted to be more efficient. They wanted to spread the wealth. and they led the NFL in takeaways this year. And if you compare this to with the teams with Stephon Diggs had a way more efficient season, they're able to let Josh Allen be Josh Allen, and he doesn't have someone that's so target hungry. But when you lose a guy like Stephon Diggs, your best receiver is a guy like Matt Collins. You trade for Amari Cooper hoping that he has something left in the tank. Keon Coleman was a guy who everyone thought was going to be a first-round talent who has kind of had an elevator season. Like some games he's really high and some games he's really low. Khalil Shakir is probably the best receiver in that room. So there's a lot of things that they're struggling with. And, there are teams out there, people will say, Packers fans, that you don't need a number one receiver to be really good. But the Bills don't have a Christian Watson. They don't have a Jaden Reed. So
Why are you taking shots
it.
at the Packers, Kev?
I'm not. I'm just saying that's a team that can win games without a number one wide receiver. So it's doable, but it's far and in between. So the Bills, I don't know where they go from here. I don't know if they can get up from this and keep swinging. Maybe Josh Allen is going to be Charles Barkley and never win a ring because of Mike. Maybe that's just the way it all plays out. And I heard a stat, or not I heard a stat. I heard something that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson every year swing at each other's necks for second place.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for for the two of them, but that's just life living in the AFC. And that's something that we as 49ers and Eagles fans don't have to worry about every year until you get to that final step. And you just hope that someone like a Joe Burrow knocks them out. And that's why, like, when I look back at all the 49ers missed opportunities over the years, I look back to that 2021 season and I just look at it with so much pain, because if Jaquiski Tartt hauled in that interception, the 49ers ultimately win that NFC Championship game. And I know I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago how that game angered me the most, but ultimately I was happy that now that my friend Eric passed away and he was a Rams fan, that I'm glad he got to watch his team win a Super Bowl. But selfishly, as a 49ers fan, I still look back at that game and I'm like, that was the year that the 49ers really could have and should have won the Super Bowl, but they missed out on their opportunity. And the one year that Mahomes got taken out before the Super Bowl, they missed their opportunity and they just literally let it slip through their hands. And so, yeah, I'm thankful that the 49ers aren't in the AFC. That's for sure. But Kaz, if you could wrap us up when it comes to this AFC Championship game, just what were your thoughts on the Chiefs once again moving on to the Super Bowl and defeating the Bills 32-29?
It sucks. When it comes to Chiefs games, especially in the AFC Championship games, I already know what the narrative's going to be. They're cheating. They're cheating. It's all over social media and whatnot. And last night, I kind of got fed up with it. I was like, guys, the Bills had opportunities. They didn't capitalize. Okay, it's football. Some calls will go one way. Some calls will go the other way. Like, it's not so blatant as you guys are making it seem. You're just mad. Josh Allen got cold feet. When it's all said and done. Now, mind you, I'm not saying Josh Allen's a bad quarterback. He doesn't have the supporting cast that a lot of other teams do, but I've been saying this all season long, and you guys have been here every step of the way. Who have the Chiefs been all season long besides a team that wins? Pat has struggled every game, every week to get these wins, and I've been saying since the beginning, good teams find ways. That championship caliber teams find ways to win. And that's how you go far. It's not about starting off like, say how the Commanders were for a little while. They were putting up 30, 40 points on teams and whatnot. And, having these massive blowouts like Detroit was happening. I'm like, that stuff's nice and all, but that stuff ain't gonna matter in the playoffs. Like, it's just not. You look at the Bills. The Bills had a really great season, but nobody wants to talk about how cupcake their schedule was. They beat a lot of teams that were under 500 this season. A lot. Their whole division was trash. Literally, their entire division was trash. They're already right there, 6 games. And I'm pretty sure they swept their division. I don't think they lost any single game. I'm pretty sure they swept.
Well, they lost to the Patriots, but we don't really count that.
Okay, yeah. Well, either way, that's the only one for sure then. So it's like, all season long, I'm just looking at Josh Allen. I'm like, dude, I like you, man. You're a footballer. And what I mean by that is you're a guy who loves the game of football and you know how to play football. But I don't look at you and go, this guy's going to go win a Super Bowl. I don't. I never have. I never probably will. Why? because that's all they have is Josh Allen. And when it's time for him to show up and have a tremendous game to win, if it's against a formidable opponent, he just usually doesn't deliver. He needs a supporting cast, and they're just not going to build a team around him like that. It's been how many years now? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to go all in and get him a true stud guy. They did with Stephon Diggs, and they let him go quickly. Why? Oh, because he's a locker room cancer. You have to bite the bullet with these things. That'd be like if Saquon Barkley, or what? Not Saquon. I think he's on his own planet, but that'd be like if AJ Brown truly was, which he's not. It's propaganda. If he truly was a locker room cancer, it doesn't matter. That's AJ fucking Brown. You make it work. That's Stephon fucking Diggs. You make it work. You make it work. Well, Josh plays. Look, he went off to Houston and didn't do as well as everyone thought he was going to. Josh is actually playing lights out without Stephon Diggs. Again, cupcake schedule. You guys are ignoring the actual proof that exists right there when it comes to the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen's nice, but he's not a quarter. Lamar should have been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have been there, bro. It took Mark Andrews dropping a ball for them to not go to overtime to win that game. And if you think about it, and I get it, it's a hypothetical. Yeah, well, he dropped it, and it's part of football, and they lost. Okay. But, like, dude, when it comes down to it, it's all about a team that has the best opportunity to win the damn thing. There's nothing that the Bills have done all season long that was who was saying that the Bills could beat the Lions? Who was saying the Bills could beat the Eagles? Who was saying the Bills could beat the Chiefs? Like, nobody was saying that when the playoffs were to come around. Hell, people probably thought the Bills wouldn't beat the Ravens. So, I mean, even though they did end up beating the Ravens and they went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, and unfortunately Dalton Kincaid couldn't haul on that ball. That was a really good throwing ball. Somehow, some way got to him the way it did. At the end of the day, let's not pretend like the Chiefs should not have won this game. And that's kind of where this game has been very distasteful for me, is that right there, is reading just the bitter fans. Everybody hates the fucking Chiefs because everybody hates teams that win. That's just the way it is in every sport. Okay, that's why Jordan was hated. That's why Kobe was hated. That's why LeBron's hated. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, football, that's why Tom Brady was hated. I got to hate on a man who gets 7 goddamn rings. I'm an Eagles fan, and they cheated the first Super Bowl appearance that we met him. And I don't hate on Tom Brady because we got our get back. People want to pretend like the Chiefs are just not who they are. They have arguably the best quarterback of all time. They have probably the second best head coach of all time, and probably arguably the best head coach of all time, because who's to say that Belichick wasn't a product of Tom Brady? That's neither here nor there, but you know what I'm saying? Let's just call it what it is. They have a really good defense. They're well coached, and we expect Sean McDermott in the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen Buffalo Bills, to go into Arrowhead, where Mahomes never fucking loses in the playoffs. And this is going to be any different. It just didn't sit right with me the entire time. So, like, I respect the Bills. I like Josh Allen, again, the football player. But, dude, this fucking, just run the ball. You know what? Josh Allen is who everybody acts like Jalen Hurts is. He can't do anything but run the ball. Josh Allen runs the ball very, very well. And guess what? He comes up very, very short when he has to run the ball very, very well. How do you beat the Chiefs? You put them away. Did the Bills have the offense to do that? Absolutely not. Did they have the offense to do that before the game even started? Absolutely not. It just wasn't meant. It wasn't. The cards weren't dealt for the Bills to win this game. It just wasn't. And I understand. It ain't like Mahomes went out there and did a bunch of shit. They make the plays when it matters the most. They deliver. Teams, players, coaches sometimes they shit the bed when the lights are bright. It happens every week, from week 1 all the way up until the championship games. Somebody ends up shitting the bed. In this case, like I said, we'll say it's Kincaid, but they had opportunities that entire game, and they didn't capitalize. You cannot be a championship caliber team without capitalizing when it matters the most. It's that simple.
Yeah, and just to add on to your point, Kaz, I said this a couple times this past week. just to other people, and so I'll bring it to the podcast. When it comes to the Chiefs, like I want to be a fan of Patrick Mahomes, like just out of respect for him as a player. I want to be a fan of Travis Kelce, but just given how much hurt they brought to me as a 49ers fan and how much pain they have caused, I can't help but hate them.
Fuck 'em.
Like, I hate them just like I used to hate Kobe, where it's like, I respect you, but I hate you. And I hated Kobe. And rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Yesterday was the 5-year anniversary of him and the 8 others passing in that helicopter crash on January 26, 2020. Never forget where I was when I found out about that. But like I hated Kobe so much as a Kings fan because he just constantly would destroy the Kings every single time, 4 times a year. And he just brought so much pain to my life. And thankfully he didn't do it in the playoffs, or I mean he did, but I was so young that I didn't watch it at that time. And that's how I feel about Patrick Mahomes. That's how I feel about Travis Kelce. Is I like them as players. I think that they're great athletes and players and even seem like good individuals off the field, but they've just brought so much pain into my life that I can't feel anything but hate for them because they've just caused me so much pain. I used to feel some type of way about the Ravens, and as a franchise, I'm still not fond of the Ravens. Joe Flacco, still don't like him. But when it comes to the Chiefs, it's just like seeing them beat my team twice in the Super Bowl in a 5-year span. I have no choice but to hate them. I respect greatness, but I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. And this upcoming Super Bowl, it's not going to be enjoyable for me. Either way, it's not going to be enjoyable for me.
Eagles get to end another dynasty, Shaun. You're not ready
Get
for
a
that?
split jersey, Cap or Shaun.
I ain't Mama Kelsey out here. Or Kaz is the one who reminds me that it's not actually Kelsey, it's Kels. But yes, I'm not the mom of 2 players, so you won't see me, or the dad. You're not going to see me out here with a split jersey. But I'm going to enjoy the commercials in a couple of weeks. I'm for sure going to enjoy some commercials.